Māori home ownership rates are the worst in the country, and there's little doubt that it's become a major pre-election issue.
In this story, reporter Yvonne Tahana asks if owning your own home is dependent increasingly on a wish and a prayer.
Nau mai ki tōku whare.
For one Ruatoria homeowner, there's nothing like living in God's old house.
Well, a beautiful āhua. I mean, some of the things I do might change the āhua, like shouting, swearing. At first I tried not to do it, but then I soon lost reverence. This whare karakia was built in 1955. Up on the wall is the original crucifix, the cross, which I've decided to keep there as it's an original antiquity of this church.
She bought using her KiwiSaver savings and subsidy, but by itself the scheme won't be the only new broom needed to fix Māoridum's housing problems. Tui Aroha is part of a small but declining group, Māori homeowners. At the 2013 census, 72% of Māori said they did not own their own home.
Well, that's a bad situation for New Zealand's social future and its economic future, because high rates of home ownership are closely correlated to much better health and education and work outcomes. So if a big chunk of the population has very low home ownership and it's falling, that's bad for New Zealand overall.
We're at Hobsonville Point in Auckland. It's a massive development. 2,500 homes will go in here, but commentators say Māori won't be buying many of those, and that's because the market's broken.
It's a jungle and chaos, and Marae are lost in that jungle. My sense is that people at an aspirational level would love to own their own home. Are they able to do it? That's another matter.
Even those living under a rock know the problems in our housing market.
Get set for more pain. The Reserve Bank's raised its benchmark interest rate for the second time this year to 3% and signalled more hikes to come.
With median house prices hitting a new record high last month, home buyers are doing it tough.
There are not enough affordable homes.
House prices are so out of whack with what households earn that even the government admits fixing the problem may take decades.
The general rate of home ownership's been declining since 1991. In 2013, 50% of the population weren't homeowners. The Māori rate's 22% higher.
There's a range of reasons why the Māori home ownership rate has fallen much further and faster than the broader home ownership rate. There's a lot higher concentration of Māori people in Auckland in particular. When you look at Auckland house prices, they've doubled or tripled depending on where you are in the last 10 to 15 years, whereas incomes haven't done that at all.
If we want to ensure that whānau become more independent, more financially free, then home ownership are one of the ways in which you can achieve that.
If we are ambitious for New Zealand and ambitious for Māori, then we need to change those stats.
It's a clear election battleground. On one side, Labour are offering a capital gains tax and want to increase housing supply.
Why would wage and salary earners be taxed on every dollar they earn, but property speculators get tax-free capital gain? It's lunacy.
Building 100,000 more homes will not only feed the social housing market, but step people through affordable rentals into home ownership.
National agree housing supply needs to increase, but it's only part of the answer to making houses affordable.
We need to be focused on incomes. That is the whole point of the government's broad economic program, to get the New Zealand economy growing so that families do have those sorts of choices like owning their own home.
Some argue that a return to traditional values which underpin state homes would benefit Māori.
This was a great day, the opening of the first government scheme dwelling. Everybody is happy.
The Prime Minister was a state house, I come from a state house, and we've flourished because of that. The reason we have succeeded is because of the security of home. If it wasn't ownership, it was a form of a social ownership, so that everybody was the beneficiary of a good, healthy home.
Despite the stats, Māori home ownership's a dream worth holding on to.
I love coming home, and it will always be a base for my family.
OK, so a few more interesting stats for you from Housing New Zealand. The worst performing government-backed housing program is Kāinga Whenua. It's targeted at those who own Māori land. Between 2010 and 2013, only 8 houses were built, with 2 more purchased. Total loans $3.3 million. Next up, Welcome Home, which started in 2003. So over a decade to October 2013, just over 1,000 Māori gained loans worth $187 million. It's about 106 Māori a year, better than Kāinga Whenua, but not big loans for Māori. $1.9 billion in total's been loaned to over 10,000 New Zealanders. So turning to KiwiSaver and the lovely Tui Aroha in our story was one of 1,400 Māori applicants who were granted a KiwiSaver subsidy between 2009 and October last year. Māori make up about 13% of the nearly 11,000 subsidies and about 14%, that's $5.2 million of the $38 million loaned.